power play thing. I'm telling you, I like it. I like it. And yeah, I was at the game. I watched. It's okay. According to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Red Wings 2, Penguins 1 last night at PPG Paints Arena. I was there covering it for DK Pittsburgh Sports. I focused almost entirely on the alignments, the pace, and the purpose of Power Play 1. And even though, say it with me, Power Play 1 didn't get any goals, say this next part with me too. They had a lot of looks. And say the next part to close it out. The other team's goaltender stood on his head. That was Ville Husso. Even though all of that was in play, and even though all of that undoubtedly felt like, all of last season, it truly did not look like it. The 5 participants, for the most part, haven't changed. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Brian Rust, Ricard Raquel, and Letang, bearing in mind that Erik Karlsson, who's still coming back from an undisclosed injury, he did resume skating yesterday, and Mike Sullivan said that he expects Karlsson to be ready for the opener. But for now, these are the 5 that you have out there. And the 5 that you have really did well. They gained the zone in a hurry. That's one big part of this plan, one that's been installed by David Quinn, the new assistant coach, former head coach of the Sharks, who's taken Todd Reardon's position. And from there, once they've set up, if they've set up, and I say that because they also tried to use that speed on those rushes to score off of the rushes, which isn't against the rules. There's nothing about having a power play that states that you're required to set up and pass it around 95 times before attempting to put the puck on net. They had one of those too. Sid came flying up the left side, drew all kinds of attention, and it ended up in a quality scoring chance without a setup. Shots were taken from everywhere. Even Gino took one from a bad angle on the left side, which you never see, and clanged one off the pipe behind Husso. But the biggest difference in every way, is that the puck is going down low. I talked with most of the participants on Power Play 1 after this game, and I thought Letang explained this approach best.
We played more at the top. Now we want to use more the bottom of the ice to set up the top. So, we have tons of skilled guy in the low ice, so I think we have to utilize that.
Yeah, if you think about the power play from last season, as you heard Letang reference, they did a lot of stuff up high. It was either him or Gino or Karlsson, and they did a lot of back and forthing. And then when that seemed a little dull, they would kind of just slide it down the boards to whoever happened to be in front of them, but then it would just come back to them, and nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. You didn't move the opponent's penalty killing box. If you tried to penetrate the box with a pass, those guys were already so set in their standing positions that it became a routine, interception and clear. But when you saw the one last night and you saw all of the movement, the constant movement, and not just on the perimeter, that was the best part. And that was what Raquel was emphasizing to me more than anything else. He said that either the puck or bodies are going through the middle constantly. We're doing anything but staying out of the middle now. And what ends up happening as a result, because of the traffic, because of a little additional chaos, now when Sid wants to make a pass through the middle, and by the way, it was Sid making most of these passes, he's got room and he's got clear sight of his target. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet online, where the game starts. Now, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. As Raquel also told me, he said we were just missing on some plays, just missing. But there were some outstanding looks, some outstanding chances. And am I wasting my time with this? You're tuning me out, aren't you? That's what you're doing. You want to see results. Fine. We'll wait on results. There's a lot of talent. And as Letang said, there's a lot of talent down low. That's not where the power play was being conducted last season. It is now. I'll take my chances with Sidney Crosby. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from Bill, who says, DK, I think it's safe to say Jesse Puljujarvi is not only making the Penguins, but has played his way into their mainstay lineup. Who does he bump out of that lineup? I think the expected guys have not played their way out of a spot, but they haven't played up to the level of Puljujarvi. Thanks for a great show for my 15-minute drive into work every day. I appreciate that, Bill. I was hoping to see Puljujarvi last night. I'm not going to lie. Believe me, I would much rather have seen the main guys and them really trying. And there was a concerted effort, you could tell, to get this power play, not just doing what they want processes, but to produce. That's why they weren't all that, ecstatic afterward, to say the least. They wanted rewards for those efforts. I happen to agree with you that Puljujarvi is going to make the team, and I feel like because he didn't play last night and that he's been consistently next to Lars Eller in this preseason, that's where you'd want to be latched onto to make the team. Think about it. Bottom six. Who's the one ironclad lock? It's Eller. So if you're the guy who's doing really well right next to the one guy who's going to make it, that. I love what I've seen of Puljujarvi. I love the heavy presence that he's had on the puck, both when winning it and after winning it. I love the assertiveness he's shown in the attacking zone. I love even some of the back-checking that he's shown, which is not necessarily something that's sitting atop his resume. What I wonder still, and I think you are too, judging from the way you asked that question, is how the rest of the lineup will stack up. Here again, last night, Anthony Beauvillier was out there with Sidney Crosby and Brian Rust. That doesn't do much for me. He's done some good things, and he did some good things last night. I have an awfully hard time leaving Drew O'Connor off of that line after what he showed late last season and what he's shown in this preseason. So that takes guys like Beauvillier, Blake Lizotte, Noel Acciari, Kevin Hayes, Valtteri Puustinen, and even a few others beyond them, and it still makes for some, I don't want to call them difficult or exceedingly difficult choices, because as you put it, the only one out of the group that's really gone upward, like to some other level, is Puljujarvi. And not that that's entirely unexpected. This was a former number 4 overall pick who was seen as having tons of promise when he was in Edmonton. Nonetheless, coming off a serious injury, one that not many players have recovered from, with the double hip resurfacing, he's made that move. And I wouldn't put anyone else out of all these players that I mentioned into that specific category, even if they've done okay. So if the team was, for whatever reason, to lose or give up on, I don't know, a Beauvillier or someone like that, I don't know that there'd be a whole lot of tears shed, certainly not any from this direction. But a lot of times when you set up scenarios like this one that Kyle Dubas did, you're not looking for a bunch of people. If you get it, it's great, but you're not expecting it. you're looking for one. You're looking for two. And maybe even a young player. If it's not Vasily Ponomarev, who hurt his shoulder last night, if it's not Ville Koivunen, who looks to me like he's making an awful lot of AHL plays in NHL games, then it's a Harrison Brunick who was just outstanding last night. I mean, outstanding on the back end. Like, dangerously close to being one of those people that you start talking about keeping around for those maximum 9 games before they have to be sent back to juniors. Really, really good. Competition will do that for you. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. Going to do another one of these tomorrow.